Welcome to Unfiltered Hummingbird. I am your host, Camellia. Hey, we're going to unpack some questions, interview some guests, have a little fun together. Come on, let's get to it. All right. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Hummingbird with Camellia. I am your host. All right. So, does anybody still read magazines? Do you pick the magazines up and you actually read them? Don't just look at the pictures, but you actually read them. I'm raising my hand. I do. My husband calls me like a book snob because I like to hold things in my hand. So I like to get magazines and actually read the articles, look at the pictures, get the information, and apply it, to my life. So I like to have it in my hand, just like a book. Although I do like digital books, especially when I'm on a long road trip and it's a good book, I'm going to put it on Audible and I'm going to listen to it that way. But I like a book in my hand so I can flip the pages. I like how it feels. I like the look. That's me. Anybody else like, the old-fashioned way of just brick and mortar? I like a book or a magazine. So on that topic, I recently came across Women's Health magazine, and there was an article that got my attention. And the reason it got my attention is because it started talking about extroverts. Well, I think I am an extrovert, but let me tell you something. What I found in this article. Now, there's Michael Wilmot, PhD. He's an industrial organizational psychologist and assistant professor of management in the Sam M. Walton College of Business at the University of Arkansas. I know that's a mouthful. But his statement that he wrote in this article is that extroversion is a dimension. So you can either be higher or lower on the scale. Extrovert, extroversion is a dimension. You could be higher or lower on the scale. Now, has anybody else had this thing that goes on where you like 1 minute you're like gung ho, ready to go, go to this party or go to this gathering or go hang out with family and have a good time, and the next minute you're like, yeah, I'm good. I could probably just sit down right here, watch Netflix or read me a good book, and I'm fine. Two, I mean, your levels can be either high or low, right? That's the first thing that got my attention about this article because I'm like, I think I'm an extrovert, but hey, when I go through and give you some definitions of what he provided in this article about not only extroverts, introverts, and ambiverts, you just might change your mind. Okay, so first, extrovert, right? If you're like me, sometimes, textbook definition. An extrovert is sociable, assertive, most of the time strong in leadership roles, open to new experiences. That's what he kind of summary of what he kind of said about an extrovert. Willing to try it, adventurous, right? I consider myself adventurous. I still want to skydive. I haven't skydived yet, but I'm pretty sure one day I will because I have that, I'm going to say gene, an extrovert gene, right? Okay. Introvert. An introvert loves spending time solo to rejuvenate themselves. They don't need a lot of social activities. They're less assertive and they're more involved in stimulation, self seeking activities. So they're already at a high level internally. So they just need that type of internal stimulation. Okay, that's an introvert. Sometimes I get that way. I think when you're dealing with teenagers, I get that way. I'm like, okay, yeah, I just want some time by myself. Don't say mama. Has anybody come home from work and you, soon as you walk through the door, mama this, mama that, mama this, mama that. Oh my gosh. You just got out of traffic. You just got home. Oh, I started telling my daughter, give me 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes before you bombard me with the mama, mama, mama. Give me 30 minutes. I need that time to detox. I need that time to just like get my day off of me, get that traffic off of me. I just need that time. I think that's when I revert to that introvert part of it. I'm like, just, I want to be by myself. Now, the interesting other one is ambiverts. Have you ever heard of that? Okay, so ambivert is living in the middle of the extroversion spectrum. Ambiverts usually lean one way or another under stress because ambiverts typically have more balance in their lives. They're already pretty good at managing their schedule, but they tend to go either way under stress. Ah, that's something to think about, right? Okay, I told you I considered myself an extrovert. So, some of the tips that this article points out is that for an extrovert, they say you have to remember to rest. Get your rest. Rest is crucial for all of us. So this should apply to everybody. Doesn't matter what your version of extrovert, introvert, or ambivert. We all need some rest. And if you don't take the rest, your body will remind you that you need rest. So extroverts, remember to rest. Extroverts, schedule some solo moments. And with extroverts, you probably need to plan it out because you're just so busy saying yes, yes, yes. Probably need to plan out that time alone. Like I told my daughter in that example, give me 30 minutes when I get home. Don't attack me about mama. Give me 30 minutes. So you schedule it. And then extroverts, we have to be okay with being alone. We need that time alone to meditate, to journal, just to love on ourselves, self love. That's what we need. That's why we need that time alone. Okay. Introvert. Introvert, fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Sometimes you don't feel like it, but you might like, I have this friend who really wants me to be there to support her, and I want to support her. Fake it till you make it. Introverts socialize on a smaller scale. They don't need the big hoopla parties. They just need a small girlfriend gathering. Let's just go to lunch. Let's just have a Sunday brunch or an afternoon or a Saturday afternoon lunch. Just small. They don't need a lot of people around. And also, an introvert needs times to recharge, so they have to be okay with saying no. And most times, most you don't have a problem. Introverts don't have a problem with saying no. No, that's not my thing, but I can FaceTime you. Now, ambiverts. So, ambiverts, they have to be very intentional about creating a social calendar and being strategic in order to provide stability in their life. So they can't always say yes, 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 because remember, an ambivert is both. An ambivert is an extrovert and an introvert. So they still need time to recharge. They still have to learn how to say no. So they have to be intentional about creating some stability and boundaries around their social calendar. And an ambivert also has to go with their gut. Go with your gut on what you feel is right. That internal thermostat that goes off. I think not it's not only for ambiverts. I think we all have that. You have an internal temperature gauge inside of you, you know, where you say, "Oh no, I don't think that's the best choice for me. Oh, I don't think I should go there." Or, "No, that outfit really doesn't benefit me." You got to go with your gut. And if you don't, hopefully, you have a really good friend or a great spouse who will help you. Lean into your needs. An ambivert sometimes gives, and does not take time for self love, self care. Listeners, have you seen a theme in all of three of these? Extrovert, introvert, ambivert. A theme here is, I think, self love. You have to love yourself in order to be able to be okay with being by yourself. You have to love yourself in order to say no to extra activities so that you have time to recharge. And then you also have to realize when you need rest, when you need time to yourself. So those are avenues that we have to, not avenues, but those are things in our lives that we have to create these boundaries. And the way you create these boundaries, you taking time by yourself to know yourself. Get to know you. Be willing to be transformed by the season that your life is in. I mean, if you're in your 20s, get time to know your 20-year-old self. If you're in your 30s, take time to know your 30-year-old self. 40s, take time to know your 40-year-old self. And it goes on 50, 60, 70, 80. Seasons change in our life. And because seasons change, we have to change with them. So you have to be willing to be transformed by that season of life that you're in and be open to the new realities. Be open to the new realities that are going on in your life. Sometimes you might not like them and it might be reality, but can I offer something to you, listeners? Your current reality, what you see right now, is subject to change. It will not always be this way. It will not always be the same. So don't go have a pity party, even though sometimes life journeys and life episodes sometimes get really hard, right? They do. They get hard. And when they get hard, that might be your new reality right now. But sister, brother, keep standing for a new reality. Keep standing for that change. It will come. We've all heard that. The change will come if we're intentional and we stay focused and we do the work. And we have to, and that was another thing. So those three things: be willing to be transformed, be open to new realities, and change your focus to get things done. You can't keep focusing on something that's bad and think something good is going to happen. No, it won't happen. No, you have to focus on what's good. So that means you might need to change your focus. If what you're doing right now is not working, change your focus. Do something else. If you need to do something else in order to write that book, if you need to make yourself journal, plan it out, plan to write every day, plan to journal every day, get a friend who's accountable to help you through that. Get an accountability coach like myself, get a life coach that'll give you tips to help you reach those goals. I offer those services as well, but you need to be able to focus on those things, and whatever you need to do in order to get that focus, do it, because the rewards of being diligent, they're priceless, right? Have you ever worked so hard for something and then it finally happens? You're like, oh my goodness, it's amazing. But when I was going back to finish my degree, one of my fears was that, oh, I'm not going to be able to make all these grades. My mind's a little older. I got a lot more responsibilities. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I work full time. I was putting all of this pressure and this fear on myself. And let me tell you, I decided that I was not going to focus on all of that reality, because that was a reality. All those things are true. I decided I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to do exactly what I tell my children. You go in there, you study, you learn, and you make all A's. Guess what? I took every class. I prayed before every class. Every assignment, I prayed. I did work. I did the work, did the homework, asked the questions. I graduated as summa cum laude. I graduated as summa cum laude, the top of my class. Who would have thought? All that time I had all that fear in my head about, oh, what you can't do. Well, I stopped focusing on it. And when I stopped focusing on it, and start doing the work, it happened. You can too. So tell me, are you an extrovert, introvert, or ambivert? Let me know. And if you need help, reach out to me. We can talk. I want to see you meet your goal. All right, that's all we have for today. Join me next time on Unfiltered Hummingbird. I am your host, Camellia. Until then, have a blessed day.